this quote by Benjamin Graham, not because we are value investors. You would have heard a lot about us talking about outcome-based investing. I've put it for three simple reasons. Because he's talking about the investment success, not about beating the market, but by whether you have put in a financial plan and a behavioral discipline that will actually get you where you want to go. And if you really think about the theme of today, it's exactly the three things that we've actually been talking about. Now, so this slide is a very interesting one. We talk about searching for investment opportunities. You know, I see the markets as a roller coaster ride. You know, I don't know if you agree with me, but if you think about the sharp climbs and the quick drops that can actually make the chart look like a roller coaster. So volatile markets and watching fluctuations going up and down. For us, if you actually go up close and personal, don't you think that it actually causes the stomach to churn? I mean, if you really get up close and personal in watching the volatile markets, it actually makes you very, very uncomfortable. So it's not something that you actually want to go through. And I think most investors, if they actually go through that period, that's when they actually make reactive decisions. They buy and sell, they actually terminate the portfolios. And actually, our speakers talked about it, that the important thing is actually to stay the course. Okay. Now, Herman mentioned macro and micro, the global markets, the SA market. I actually don't want to get into that economics, but I think what we wanted to leave you with is how, even in the volatile markets, it's actually quite challenging for investors to navigate these markets. You actually need a partner. That's when you need a partner like us to actually help you stay the course, to help you navigate these markets. Then I've got a slide that talks about US states' needs. I think one person made mention of Donald Trump. I think it was actually Sonia, that, you know, we never know what he tweets. So for us, it's actually insightful hearing from other global speakers that how investments are evolving to be resilient in uncertain time. And for us, we're saying that diversification helps. Then we talked about emotional investing, which I must say I found it very, very interesting. I think the one thing that I could not quite understand was those two Ulysses pictures. I don't know how you feel about that. I actually felt a little better when I saw him showing the male version of that picture, because I felt, okay, there's a little bit of balance. But the three rules that Greg left us with was put your wealth to work, diversify, leave it alone. I think those three things is actually the three takeaways that for us actually links it back to outcome-based investing and the fact that we actually want to stay the course. In fact, I think the other one he mentioned was taking control of your decisions. I think I found that quite insightful, I must say. Sorry, when you wrap up, you have a Bible with you, so please bear with me. Other people are clicking, so I've actually been taking notes, so I had to really listen to the speakers today. And then we've got one of our speakers, Motlatsi, who actually shared with us unpacking the risk premium on alternatives, how these strategies bring good balance between performance and risk. So I think what came across his theme was that they don't just provide attractive yields with long-term capital appreciation, but they actually also give you predictable cash flows. So in other words, if you're actually involving those alternative assets, prescribed assets into your portfolio, you're actually more likely to diversify that portfolio quite nicely. And then we heard from Dr. Wilna de Groot from Rebecca earlier today, and then my colleague Wayne afterwards, who actually took you through systematic strategies and how to consider these tools as part of portfolio construction. So what we've seen is the real benefit is not only diversification by manager, but it's also diversification of portfolio, of performance relative to traditional market cap indices. Wrapping up, Rob took us through transformation, which is actually quite a critical aspect that a lot of principal officers, trustees are thinking about. But what I wanted to do is not just talk about transformation, but maybe put a little bit of a spin to it and add social responsible investing, because we feel that as momentum investment, so that SRI part is also very, very critical in terms of how we look at investments. A lot of investors are scrutinizing us on ESG. You would have seen, I think actually it was also mentioned earlier about corporate South Africa. I think it was the guy from, what's his name? David Watts. I don't know if I've got the right name though, from Carte Blanche, where he talked about ESG and corporate SA and how some of the companies have actually breached governance. You know, companies like Tongaat, Steinhoff, Resilient. Now, where we become a partner with our clients is some of the research that our guys produces. You know, Herman presented it earlier. Most of the time, we actually give our clients research on some of these write-ups, and I think most of our clients have actually found it quite fruitful. So before I get to the outcome-based investing, which is something that you've heard throughout the day, I'm sure you'll agree that whilst there's a great deal of uncertainty for South African investors, it is important to understand that at the end of the day, uncertainty and even volatility in investment market do not only represent risk, they also represent opportunities. It's basically what you actually do with it. I think Greg mentioned that post-purchase confirmation bias. So what you don't want is to actually take decisions and then you find that you actually hit by post-confirmation bias. What you need is information, is knowledge, is knowing how to keep various elements of the investment plan aligned to navigate uncertain waters and continue on your journey to wealth creation. And then having listened to Sonia and team take us through outcome-based investing, I think what we'd like to leave you with is, for us, we hope that today has been very fruitful. We hope that you have taken in the OBI and you understand exactly what it is. We hope that the team has done well in unpacking it for you so that you can use it for your clients as a tool and also to partner us in understanding more about OBI. I know Rob spoke about the OBI score, which we believe is a very good tool to actually use for some of your clients' portfolios as well. So I think linking the keeping clients invested, the maintaining the focus, and the making the journey as comfortable as possible still links back to Greg's presentation on those three aspects that I actually quite like, of putting your health to work, diversifying, and making sure that you leave investments alone to ensure that you enjoy the wealth creation part of it. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us. And yeah, we'd like to, well, I don't drink, but I will be certainly holding a glass. So those of you that know that I don't drink, please just, go around the corner. But we'd like to invite you to join us for the behavioral wine tasting. And yeah, we'd like to thank you. Thank you.